Hey, what's up, everyone? My name is Al. I am a veteran eBay seller, and I have, over the years, made hundreds, if not thousands, of eBay purchases and sales. And recently, I have become very frustrated with the state of eBay and other platforms that do e-commerce. So I thought to go to Reddit, and I found a ton of people like me that are frustrated with e-commerce. So I created this subreddit called FixEcommerce. I'll link it in the comments, but I'm going to start doing content. I'm not a content creator of any sort, but I'm going to start doing content because I've been working with a buddy of mine to develop a better marketplace. Just a marketplace that you can do all the things that you want to do as a seller or as a buyer. You know, as a seller, you want to sell some of your old shit, and as a buyer, you want to buy other people's old shit for why? Because it's cheaper than getting it in the primary market, especially now in this economy with tariffs and cheap shit going up and down. Anyway, join if you're interested. I want to create a community and get ideas into the bucket of how we can, how do we create an eBay, an Etsy, a Vinted, a Mercari, any of these platforms? How do we create them where they do the things that they're supposed to be doing without all the BS that they have currently, right? And some of it is very obvious things like extremely high fees, very slow dispute resolution, like extremely slow. And then I noticed this is a theme of platforms that frustrate me the most. They don't protect their sellers, and the sellers are the blood of e-commerce. If there's no sellers, there's no liquidity of items, so there's no transactions to be made. So anyway, that's kind of a little spiel. I'm going to start doing some content where I just show some of these Reddit posts are actually pretty funny. This is the subreddit. I'll link it in the video description, but I just thought, let's look at some of these. I lined up a couple, there's a ton, from a couple of different platforms. So let's get into it. So it says eBay, on our eBay seller advice, unable to contact agent via calling. What should I do? I'm having trouble getting in touch with a real person at eBay support. My account access was suddenly removed without explanation. This actually happened to me once before, and back then I was able to resolve it by getting a call through the automated assistant on eBay support page. This time I tried going through the same steps, but the assistant no longer offers a callback option. It only gives me a send us an email link. I hate that already. We've all been through it. I used that 2 days ago, but all I got back was what looks like an automatic message, no sign that a real person ever reviewed it. I also found posts suggesting that contacting eBay through Facebook messaging might work, so I tried that too. I've seen that too before, by the way. Messenger shows that the message was read, but no one has replied. Okay, that's frustrating. At this point, I'm stuck. I don't know how to escalate this. Keep trying Facebook is the best answer. Obviously, this is a pretty recent post. We have some older ones that have like a lot of comment history, and some of them are pretty funny. Like some of the, this is very Reddit culture, but keep trying Facebook. I have the best results trying to reach them through there. Okay. So, quick comments on this. This is obviously something a lot of us can relate to, where we're just pushed to these automated systems. I don't know what the goal here of these platforms is. Do they want us to I think that's their goal. Like just push us to automated systems, hoping that'll resolve it, or we just give up and that's it, right? But that's really frustrating that I have to go to Facebook. I haven't logged into Facebook in like 10 years and message eBay there, and maybe I'll get a human, but apparently they'll just read my message and leave me on read. That's really frustrating. One of the top things that I want to be able to create in a new modern e-commerce marketplace that resembles these e-commerce platforms of today is just lightning fast dispute resolution and lightning fast support and human driven support. It can be aided by AI to make it more efficient, but this is unacceptable. Where you're not able to ever be in contact with a human for something as important as your account access being removed without explanation, which is just so stupid. So anyway, there's quick comments on this. I hope this seller gets back their account because a lot of sellers depend on these platforms to make a living. So to get access cut off all of a sudden is extremely rude and disrespectful from these platforms, and at the same time, it sucks. And my second point was the fact that they can't even say, hey, my account was shut down, and get a human on the other end to say, oh yeah, you know what, this happened, and then they could just fix it, right? Just treat us like humans. And I think people are willing enough to play the game if we just get treated like humans. Treat us as the users that power your platform and give you fees to stay alive, right? eBay specifically, Like eBay has 11,500 employees since the fiscal year 2024. They probably have more now. That's nuts. Oh, okay. They have, that's 11,500 employees. What are they all doing? Why can't someone reach out to a human? I mean, I've worked at smaller companies before and we have like 24/7 support and, like access to an agent is less than a minute 24/7. Obviously we didn't do the volume that eBay does, but 11,500 is ridiculous. You could probably power a high volume dispute and support resolution department with like 100 guerrilla agents, that share 24/7 shifts. And that means there's always someone on a computer. But anyway, okay. So this is Vinted. Buyer sent me back a can of Coke instead of the DSI I sold him. This obviously is really sucky. Have to laugh about this. I sold a DSI, games and a charger on Vinted. The guy sent a video and pictures of the DSI supposedly not working and not reading the games. We went back and forth a bit and I explained I had evidence of the device working before shipping it and said it must have maybe gotten damaged in transit, even though I followed Vinted guidelines about shipping electronics, etc. I agreed to do a return so I could check the item myself and decided to pay him for the return, which he tried to get me to change my mind on. I'm glad I didn't know. He was really rude and combative that he swore up and down that it was my fault because it had been damaged, and he refused to say that the delivery company could have been at fault in any way, shape, or form. I went to pick up the parcel today, and he sent me a can of Coke bubble wrapped up in a shoddy cardboard box that was barely taped up properly. While this has annoyed me, I can't help but laugh at the audacity of it all, and I've contacted Vinted to show the evidence. The only thing I forgot to get was a video of me taking it out of the locker. Is that a big deal? Would that be something that could help back up my claim? Because I'm worried he's not going to say that I've opened the parcel. Yes, it would help. As someone that is trying to build a marketplace with end-to-end dispute resolution, that does help, even though it's annoying. But it's just something that I think people have to do. They have to shore up proof, especially if they are, low reviewed accounts. My account on eBay has like 12,000 reviews, all about, with an average of like 4.8 stars. So I don't feel the need to, as a seller, do a lot of things to help protect me because my reviews back up the type of person and seller I am historically. With a platform like eBay, it is frustrating because there are a lot of sellers that reach those levels like me, and eBay still cancels their account for no reason. eBay does not support them in obvious, scams like this one. So we got some answers. It sounds like he's scamming to get a refund and keep the item. Unfortunately, Vinted usually sides with the buyer. So this is obviously not good. Can't deny it. That made me cackle. The buyer has balls to spend time bubble wrapping a can. Yeah, this is the picture. Look at that. Bubble wrapped it and everything. The more I read the stories, the more I think I'm going to insist on buyers using Vinted verification next time I sell an electronic. I wish they'd make it compulsory. I honestly don't know what that feature is, but I'll look it up. At least he was considerate enough to make sure it didn't get damaged, I guess. I've had an issue with someone trying to scam me on Vinted as well before. I sent them a figurine that was in perfect condition, but they claimed it was broken even though I wrapped it thoroughly. Needless to say, Vinted sided with me and banned the account and gave me the money. Okay, that's good stuff. All right, interesting case study. This is obviously something that, is terrible. How to fix this? I'd love ideas from you guys. I'd love for you guys to join the FixEcommerce. We also have a Telegram that we're setting up so that people who are sellers like me, who are high volume sellers historically, who rely on selling on eBay and Etsy and Vinted, can say, hey, I'm a seller. I wish this was implemented, right? Hey, I'm a seller. I had this experience. I wish a marketplace would do this. It would be really helpful, right? So we're relying on people telling us about their experiences so that we can build something more robust and think of something more robust, right? So just sharing at this point, but interesting case study. Is the seller crazy? Shall I open a case with Vinted? So purchase some trainers under the assumption they were brand new. Condition was listed as brand new. And again, in the description, brand new. This is what I've received in conversation with the seller. So obviously the shoes look worn outside. There's clear evidence of outside use that is not brand new. Have you listed these as brand new? They are literally brand new. I've tried them on, walked inside my house, and I'm a 5 size. Okay. Yep, definitely not getting mixed up with another pair of trainers. Okay, so this seller is obviously, this is a funny comment. Their house floors must have been real dirty. Haha. It's not even just the dirt. The tread is worn. Yeah, like the shoe itself is it's smoothed out. Definitely worn outside. Why can't people just be honest? Worn once is fine with me if they're not priced the same as I could get them brand new. Okay, so I'm not seeing like a direct solution commented here, people are kind of just having a good time. But yeah, this is really bad. Obviously a clear-cut case of seller-side fraud, because these are not brand new. People should be honest. This was 12 days ago. A fix here, I mean, it's tough. We have to find a way to leverage trust. How do we get to the point where we are transacting online and this shit does not happen? Like, I think one of the ideas that I have is leveraging social status. So for example, that's a primary reason I'm trying to do content on this. Like, I'm putting my face out there. You guys can Google me, right? Like, you see my face. And if you ever buy stuff from me, I would never do this. Like, you know, for one, we're trying to find a way to, how do we get someone to leverage their trust and social status so that it becomes, I don't know, like a non-incentive to do this shit? Because then you can say, oh, Al lied to me. He sold me, he defrauded me online. He sold me a pair of shoes that he claimed were brand new, but they were clearly worn and dirty and disgusting. That's really bad. So that legacy, that review should follow me around everywhere I go. It's Al, the dirty shoe seller. So that's something that I think could fix this, because most of these platforms, you're transacting with ghosts, you know? Some of them are, I was looking at, I guess, Lord of the Rings figurines. You know, they're just like, this is just a random profile. Good for him. He's got great positive feedback, 100%. But it's also like, it's a random person, you know? So it's a random anonymous person. And I'm not saying they have to like fully put themselves out there. But if we want to solve a lot of these issues, you know, it could be a good first step to say, oh, I'm transacting with, I don't know, Jim from Arizona. He's got his profile pic there. I can see he's verified. Maybe that increases the trust that if he does something stupid, it follows him around beyond Deutsche Depot, right? Or Dutch Depot or whatever. So that's a spare thought here. Been harassed by a buyer. Can't block. Found you. Good morning. Sorry, can you explain what you mean? Long story short, buyer purchased a PS5 controller from me, claimed it didn't work, and refused to pay for shipping to send it back, giving me a lot of abuse. The item was eventually sent back stinking of smoke and filthy, so I raised a claim to Vinted. This is still going on. He is now sending me weird messages like the one pictured above saying, found you. Now he's trawling through my social media like some lunatic and making comments about my wife to me. The worst part is I cannot block this guy because of this ongoing investigation by Vinted. Save everything they send you, then go to police is one of the top comments. Keep the screenshots and also send it to Vinted. Harassment isn't acceptable and he should be permanently banned from Vinted. Yeah, this is really bad. Again, kind of backs my claim of like, we should push to have people be more out there with their social credit. You know, this is just a random S that is like harassing you, and you don't want that. And the buyer should be able to make this claim, especially when it comes to like safety concerns. Those should be like pretty immediate. Where this buyer or this user, you know, if someone raises a safety claim, it doesn't get put in the queue. It goes immediately to number one because it's a claim involving safety, and there should be a clear process for involving law enforcement where applicable, but mainly, you know, keeping the user safe. Like this is so stupid. You know, so yeah, I hope this user got this resolved, but this is really bad. Platform should not tolerate this at all. Okay, we got a couple more Vinted. Let's see if we got, okay, Mercari. First time dealing with a weirdo, another weirdo. Oh, honey. Oh, wait. Hi, do you have any more Calico critters or 2 Dokis? No, I don't, sorry, but I have more Sanrio. I'm crying now because, but it's okay. I can't, I'm sorry, I really need the money, but I hope you can find something elsewhere. Oh, honey, I am so not threatened by you. And then she sends a bunch of messages, this user. Last time I checked, you don't have a man, so it looks like you are the one who's panini pressed. The seller goes, okay. Search up Gypsy Rose, whatever. Please leave me alone. She starts spamming stickers, spamming automated replies. This interaction started normally, but quickly developed into some BS. And now they're blowing up my inbox, but I don't have my Mercari notifications on, so the joke is on them, I suppose. You are just mad because she has a Chad. It's one of the top comments. I would have immediately blocked them. Yeah, I would block them. I don't need that kind of nonsense in my life. Yeah, that's bad. Yeah, again, probably a safety issue that they could raise and get this buyer banned. Also, one of the ideas we have been discussing. And again, like I talked to a bunch of sellers too, and we just throw ideas on the wall, see what sticks, see what doesn't. So this obviously, fixing e-commerce is a very difficult thing. Obviously, no one has really done it well in 2025 because we're still dealing with these platforms. eBay has been around for 30 years. Etsy has been around for many, many years. So one of the ideas we actually had was charging users per message. So that, for one, immediately attacks spam, and keeps things low, honestly, on the provider side. You don't have to be paying a messaging service where you're, paying each ping. So it immediately attacks spam. If you can just do simple, like 25 cents a message, right? And so users can message each other for 25 cents a message or something like that, 10 cents a message, whatever. So if this user wants to do that, there you go. Then go crazy. And maybe you do something cool like, 10 cents a message, 5 cents goes to the user that gets the message. 5 cents goes to the platform, the provider. We're thinking of schemes like that make this make sense, right? And for legit questions that makes sense too. So that sellers makes it a little easier for sellers where they don't have to be answering, questions all the time, similar questions. Depop is another one. This is crazy. Assumed as a tip and no refunds. They're putting a picture here of an item, and this is common. And then the item has a note. Do not purchase this listing. If you do, it will be assumed as a tip. You will not be refunded. Sorry. Be sure to read listings in full, especially since I have seen a couple listings like this now. Only downloaded Depop about a month ago. I haven't made a sale or purchase it on Depop personally. Only been using Poshmark. If you purchase something and never arrives, the seller can keep your money. Other platforms would cancel the order if your package is never shipped and accepted. Nah, that's not how things work, lol. This person cannot claim your money as a tip. Okay. Good stuff. Yeah, Depop would just refund you in this situation. I don't think the seller can actually keep your money. I'm not sure why people do this in the first place. Like, why wouldn't you set the price to some stupid amount to keep people from purchasing? Maybe something that the platform provider side can do is like, not allow key phrases like this in product descriptions, like do not buy, right? That's stupid. Immediate ban for the user. I'm not sure why they're doing this either, but it's stupid. And the reason I put it up here is these issues are time wasters. They waste human time. So someone is going to see a bag, they're going to add it to their cart, they're going to buy it, and they may have not noticed this stupid disclaimer in the description saying do not purchase, I will take as a tip. And now they have to go through a whole stupid long process with the platform provider and with the seller. Hey, what's going on? And that takes weeks and their money's locked up. It's stupid. So that should be avoided. Last one, eBay. Hi, been using eBay for years and received an item as not described. It was delivered a week ago and I requested a return with a picture of the defect. The seller refused the return and I cannot find a way to have eBay step in to help. I've been using eBay for years and received an item. It was delivered a week ago and I requested a return with a picture of the defect. Oh, okay, I see what the buyer is saying. Did you open the return under item is not described? If not, and it was filed under something like changed my mind or ordered by mistake, then it falls under buyer's remorse, which sellers can decline, especially if they don't accept returns. If it was item not as described, the seller wouldn't be able to refuse it. So it sounds like the wrong reason might have been selected. At this point, your best bet is to get in touch with eBay directly by phone and explain the situation. We covered that in the first post that eBay is really hard to get in contact with, which they are. If that goes anywhere, unfortunately, your only remaining option may be to file a chargeback through your payment provider. But that should be a last resort. This sticks to my theme of e-commerce nowadays. It's just a waste of time. A chargeback with your payment provider. Now I'm not sure who's right, who's wrong, but these should be much easier to solve, where you can just contact the platform 24/7, immediate support. Hey, I just got this item. It's not described, and the platform steps in to help. Obviously, it's tough, but it's tough for the platform to decide, but there should be mechanisms in place that make these dispute resolutions easier, like trust, social status, social reviews, proof flows. Did the seller document the packaging of the product? Did they take pictures? Did they upload them pre-hand to avoid this stupid time wasting? Did the buyer take a video of them receiving the product, opening it, etc.? Right? These things aren't practical, but these are things that maybe need to be done since we don't have other solutions where, because you could say, oh, the seller might have sent a rock. Okay, but how do you know the buyer didn't swap a rock into the package and take the item out and say, hey, I got a rock. So there's always like he said, she said, or whatever. So that's where like trust, reviews, social, that steps in. Because it's like, now if I'm selling stuff to you, it's like, oh, Al sent me, or he sold me an iPad and he sent me a rock. And people are like, no, wait, that doesn't make any sense. I know Al. He's made 12,000 sales. He's never once sent a rock. And you, the person claiming that you got a rock, you have two transactions to your name. And one of them is 3 stars and one of them is 4 stars. So the platform provider needs to take this into account and say, yeah, I mean, sorry, bro, you're going to have to build up a little bit more trust before we even this out. Because like we know Al really well. He has 12,000 5-star reviews. He has no reason to put a rock in a package. Oh, and guess what? Like, despite him having a high enough review record and everything, he actually documented the packaging of the iPad. He showed the item number and packaging and etc. All that stuff to just back up my claim. Anyway, just a few Reddit posts. Let me know how I did for my first round. I have a ton of them. I spend all my time on this account. So if you see me, I just created this. It's called Midna Market. That's what this like little project is named. And I'm on a ton of these communities. Etsy. I didn't have any Etsy today for some reason. But there's like eBay seller advice, eBay. And so the purpose of this is to create a community of e-commerce users, both buyers, sellers, and everything in between, and see how we can, how do we create a platform that doesn't charge as high as these platforms and offers better services, better features, better dispute resolution and support. So I'll leave it with that, and I'll also put the Telegram link in the comments. Happy for any comments in the YouTube, and thanks everybody.